Help fills up the room. How many of you here are manufacturers? Or coming from manufacturing? Okay, keep your hands up if you're a member of SMF. If not, we'll take membership applications later. But here, I'm here today really to represent on the platform of Singapore Mandarin Federation, putting on the head of SMF, looking from the association view of how we see cloud and how our members are reacting to it. Coincidentally, I'm also CEO of Crimson Logic, a local company. We also have our own cloud services, a company called Clear Management that runs our own cloud, and it too has run through some interesting experiences in setting up cloud. Just a minute, let me try and figure this out. Green, right? Okay, apologies, I think we have a slight hardware fault. Oh, he's jumped to the end of my presentation. Okay, good. So let me tell you a little bit about SMF. SMF is a federation, it's 82 years old now. It's formed in 1932. It represents most of the larger manufacturing community in Singapore. We have about 3,000 members, and it's the voice of the industry. So if you are a manufacturing company, you're not a member of SMF, I would encourage you to join, because this will be a great platform for you to meet other manufacturing companies, get your voice heard, and get your issues raised up to the government, because we do that quite effectively as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about cloud and manufacturing in Singapore and how do I see the situation, how do we think things are moving on, and what I'll share with you a survey that we've done and where we see things happening and where the take-up is about. Now, the first thing about manufacturers is you build stuff. So there's atoms. You need to move atoms, so you need to move physical goods. And the best way to facilitate the flow of goods is through bits, if information can flow easily. Now, so when you think about manufacturing companies as a whole, and especially in Singapore, the notion of software as a service and using bits to lubricate the supply chain has been around for a long time. And you think about it, TradeNet. TradeNet was formed in 1989. It's the first single window in Singapore. How we use information from 35 forms to one form. How we make sure that you are able to interact with 35 government agencies. That came about to facilitate trade, because Singapore really needed to improve the flow of goods as a country whereby external trade is 3 times GDP. Any improvement in the movement of goods makes a lot of difference. But beyond TradeNet, there's also CCN for air cargo and PortNet for things. And in supply chain, I think Singapore also played a role in trying to establish standards with RosettaNet and helping information flow. And we've seen over the years, manufacturing industries continue to invest in technology and adopt systems that can improve both internal and external efficiencies. So where are we with cloud in Singapore? I think if you take software as a service and ability to think about metered applications and using that, it kind of started a long way ago. But of course, I mean, to the purist, that's not cloud. That's just software as a service. Because cloud, there are other dimensions to that. But I think the notion of paying per transaction, it has been around within the manufacturing sector for a long time. Now, I'm sure this is not strange to all of you, the different variations and how you define cloud and what's managed, what's not managed, and where it is if you are really at the cloud whereby everything is managed and your efficiencies are all there. And when you think about in Singapore, there's no lack of choices. There's enough solutions out there. There's enough vendors out there, some local companies, some foreign companies. And the beauty about cloud is it doesn't matter where you are, you can consume that service. And there's more than enough companies and applications around there. So within Singapore Manufacturing Federation itself, we use Just Login for our HR systems. It's a cloud service provided by a local company. We have on-premise email, but we're going to move it to Office 365. We have a server room. And I remember talking to the people in there, I said, where's your backup? The backup is a tape that's in another room. So I go, that doesn't work. So anytime you are small and you have to run your own facility, it doesn't make sense to have your own server room. Move to the cloud, and that's where we are going. And the association, that's where we're trying to help encourage more members to go, because there is no better way to manage your infrastructure than to have it in the cloud, because you never have enough people, you never have enough capability to make sure that your systems and solutions are safe and can run 24/7. So we did a quick survey of our members. We polled our member base. The response rate came up. It's not that great, but I think it's indicative of what the situation is, what are the key concerns, and how do people see things. So when we talk about benefits of using cloud, I think the good news is I think there's a lot of recognition that cloud can make a lot of difference. So when you look at from cost effectiveness, TCO, the notion that there is a world whereby you are mobile, you need to get access to information anywhere, anytime, on any device, then cloud makes a lot of sense. There's also a recognition that when you have cloud, then you solve issues with scalability. I mean, these are all the key benefits, and people appreciate that. So at least the messaging is getting through. But the concerns about cloud is there. And it's the concerns about security. It's the concerns about privacy. The key concern about data sovereignty still remains. And I think, honestly, I think that's misguided, because a cloud is definitely safer than your own data center. A cloud will be better managed than your own data center. Because whenever you think about a cloud, the cloud provider has to make sure that his operations can survive attacks of not just one, but millions of times, because from all over the world, and they have that experience. They have the capability. The software in the infrastructure in the cloud is always up to date. If you have your own infrastructure, the whole notion of making sure your security patches are up there, intrusions, attacks are monitored, is tough. And especially tough for a small company. So you really need to think about how you can leverage and make use of this expertise and infrastructure you put in place in the public cloud. And I think that makes a lot of sense. And then when we look at what people use cloud for, the good news is of the people we surveyed, more than 2/3 of them are already in the cloud, and you're using some form of software as a service. But when you drill deeper and peel under the hood and you look at what applications they're using it is generally email, because that's easy to move to the cloud, whereas Office 365 or Gmail, email is easy. It's storage, because storage is easy to move to the cloud. With some web applications, because it's easy to move to the cloud. But when you think about the heart of the manufacturers and what the manufacturing is, ERP systems, it's not quite there. It's not happening as fast as we like. I haven't done a correlation, but I think there will be one. If I do a correlation with the owner of the company and the willingness to go to the cloud, I think there will be a direct correlation. The younger the owner, the more open he is. Because I think that's part of the challenge is there is a lot of comfort with what you have, and cloud means that you have to do something differently. And I think when we looked at specifically the leading companies who do have applications on the cloud, they tend to be the multinationals, not the SMCs, and that's because it's a corporate directive or corporate direction they have put in place something along those lines. So, in summary, coming back and looking at how things are, I think manufacturers in Singapore are just starting to appreciate the cloud. They are dipping their toes, taking the lowest hanging fruits will always be the applications like office productivity, sharing of information, web applications, or storage. But the real things, whether it comes to the IP and the heart and bolts of the company, that hasn't happened yet, not quite. And I think among Singaporeans, we really need to shake off the kiasi attitude. I think that's that is the biggest inhibitor, because everybody can talk about the problems, and you over-exaggerate the problems in the digital world versus the physical world. When you think in the physical world, you think of all the things that go wrong and you don't move, but you're much, much worse off in the physical world. So, when you think about the cloud and the notion of security, as I mentioned earlier, a public cloud is 10 times, maybe 100 times more secure than whatever internal operations you have. That's for sure. That's a given. And you talk about data. You can put enough practices in place to secure your data, to encrypt your data, to separate the personal identifiable information so that the data on the cloud is safe. Doesn't mean the data in your own operation is safe. So if you take away these two, the security and the privacy issues, I think public cloud is the way to go, and you have really to go there because the cost effectiveness and the efficiencies you gain there is unparalleled. And when we did the survey and talking to people, I think we are encouraged that the momentum has come. We've not quite reached tipping point yet. I think we are just starting. If I look at the whole membership base of 3,000 companies in SMF, I would say less than 30 or 40% of them are using cloud effectively. There's still a long, long way to go. But when you go in it, this is one thing whereby you may go all in, not just take the simple applications, but think about how you can move up the value chain and use it to run all your applications as well. Thank you. And in case for those who want to join SMF, contact information.